Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great Christmas. My Friday night post was a little bit late this week. I've been a little bit under the weather over this Christmas period, but I just had a rapid antigen test. I'm not going to go and line up in one of those long queues to get a government checkup, so I just did a rapid antigen test and I haven't got COVID. I just have a cold. Anyway, on screen, you'll see my church's Facebook page, which is Belvoir Street Baptist Church. And there we see some kids, Belvoir kids, doing a Christmas performance. And that was great. They all enjoyed themselves doing that. Some funny, real performers there. Here's our little congregation. We don't have the biggest congregation, but we're growing, and it's wonderful to see more and more people come along to Belvoir Street and enjoy the fellowship there. There's some kids there and families and people really enjoying themselves down the bottom. A bunch of us, there's probably about 70 of us there on our Christmas service last weekend, our carol service, all enjoying food together down the bottom right-hand side there. So if you're in the Sydney area, please come along and visit Belvoir Street Baptist Church. We'd love to have you along. I was going to do part 2 of my Acts 26 sermon, so the trial of King Agrippa, but just not feeling that well, I thought I wouldn't post it because I wouldn't do the passage justice, and it's a really good passage. So I'll post that next Friday night. So I thought I'd just run through a few current events happening, and this is one that really jumped out at me. You'll see on screen there, just outside the United Nations, they've put up this horrendous idol. And the United Nations has placed a giant statue in New York that seems to resemble an end times beast from the New Testament book of Revelation. The United Nations recently tweeted a photo of the statue, a guardian for international peace and security sits on the visitors' plaza outside the UN headquarters. And there it is, this beast with wings, and it just so happens to have tremendous similarities. It's not identical, but the audacity of the United Nations to put this beast, Revelation 13 like beast, out the front of the United Nations. And if we read from Revelation 13, we read about the beast from the sea. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now this beast outside the United Nations only has 1 head, and so it doesn't have the 7 heads and the 10 horns and the 10 crowns, but it's very similar to what's described here. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard. It's what it looks like to me. His feet were like the feet of a bear, and he has very strange feet, bear-like feet, that one outside the United Nations. And his mouth was like the mouth of a lion, very big mouth. And the dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world marveled and followed the beast. So they worshipped the dragon, who gave authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue 42 months. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God. Now listen, the bottom line is, I think the United Nations is a wicked organisation, intent on evil. It has a hatred and a bloodlust against Israel. It drives wicked agendas right through the world. And I'm completely opposed personally to the United Nations. I wish Australia would have nothing to do with the United Nations. But here they are having the audacity, almost provoking these biblical descriptions here, the beast rising up out of the sea. We don't care. We'll put up an image of a beast. And we don't care what the Bible says. These are wicked people, I believe, the people of the United Nations. And the statue there, I think, is a harbinger of the soon coming Antichrist, because that beast that I read about in Revelation 13 there is a picture. It is an image of the coming Antichrist. And I believe the time of this beast, and I believe the beast, the Antichrist, will actually take refuge and take hold and take power, most likely from within the United Nations itself. And you got to look at the signs of our times, and there's some tremendous signs around at the moment. Another current event, especially here in New South Wales, but I hear about it all around the world, we're no different here in New South Wales to the rest of the world, is the QR code. So we have these QR codes back in a limited way. The Premier of New South Wales said the reintroduction of COVID restrictions was to support the health system. We're one of the most vaccinated states in the world. 95% of people fully vaccinated. And they've got to reintroduce restrictions on us. What we're seeing at the moment is that many of our health workers, around 1,500 just today, are either sick or unable through testing requirements to be able to come into work, he explained. He said QR codes were being reintroduced in a limited way in low-risk settings. The other aspect arising out of National Cabinet yesterday was a national agreement to put in place, blah, 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 QR codes. Can I tell you, when these QR codes first came out, I didn't realise what they were. And I actually downloaded the QR code, the Service New South Wales app on my phone, and I checked in once or twice at the very beginning when they first came out. And then I realised what was going on. These people trying to control my movement, trying to control where I was going, what I was doing, what I was buying, what interactions I was going through. And I just immediately uninstalled the app, and I have never since gone anywhere near anything to do with this QR code. And I would suggest strong civil disobedience, not in any way harmful, or not in any way, just do not comply with this QR code. If you need to go shopping, don't take your phone with you. If they want you to check in manually, well, you can write a name and a number down on a piece of paper, but don't use the QR code system. I'm encouraging Christians to step back from this. I believe this is very likely a forerunner trial system for the mark of the beast. It's not the mark of the beast, but I believe it is a forerunner trial, and people are complying with this. And I don't believe Christians should be complying with this QR code check-in system. I believe it is a control mechanism which is very, very dangerous. So that's my thoughts, that's my recommendations. Steer clear of the QR code. Don't download it on your phone. If you've installed it on your phone, uninstall it and stop using it. If a shop refuses you entry without using this electronic entry mechanism, you are better off shopping somewhere else. Most places will allow you to write your name down. Better still, other places will just allow you to walk in without going through any of this nonsense whatsoever. Do not comply with this system, which I believe the Antichrist is going to enhance and more significantly use in his Mark of the Beast system, which is coming. We saw it just outside the United Nations. These people who think they can just mock the world, mock Christians, mock God, and put up a statue of the beast, which is coming, the Antichrist, who is coming. Anyway, I trust you have a Merry Christmas, a great Christmas time, a time of rest with your family, and a wonderful new year. And I'll see you soon on my Friday night postings. God bless.